Starting to the top left, we have the Protoss player for Team LGIM. His first opponent was Violet. He won against him. This is, of course,
LGIM first.
Don't confuse him with Last.
Nope.
Last is a Terran player.
And he's up against the Zerg in the bottom right. In the blue for Team AZUBU, he is
AZUBU Sleep.
very unusual pick. It's got to be a special build for the map. You know, nothing else seems to make sense. He could do a 10 pool here. No, it starts 10 Overlord instead. I'm just really waiting to see something crazy.
When Sleep was on Team LGIM, he was granted his nickname by his teammates. They called him Sleepy, and for good reason, when you saw the shot in the booth earlier. So now he's up against first. And let's see what Sleep is going to do here. I'm really curious. On this map, Mutalisks are really good on a map like this. You can do quite a lot with them. It's a very aggressive map. On the other hand, taking a third base is a little bit difficult for a Zerg player against the Protoss here. If Protoss tries to go in and has good force fields, he can do a lot against the third. So we might actually just see Sleep heading into this early attack and a later third base.
We have a gateway going up for first. Really, really interesting. This is going to be a crazy game. I can already feel it.
I mean, that's completely understandable. Think about it. How the map works with this more difficult third to take. Why not start things with the gateway here? Because you're in a position where you already want to be aggressive against the third base. It's so good for you if you can get onto the high ground and then place those force fields. And then starting with a gateway first will give you the ideal opening to be aggressive if your opponent is really trying to take that base.
I just find this choice strange to play a Zerg on this map against a Protoss because you know you're probably going to pylon blocked, as he is here, and that hurts even more on a map where you're losing special gas, rich gas to be more technical, and the rich minerals. And you can't go hatch first. Your opponent's probably going to go Nexus first, but if he goes for Forge first and you go for a hatch first and you get cannoned and you're in trouble, it's just a tough map to open up as Zerg. In this case, obviously, it's completely different with the gateway going down, but he's losing so much time here, and he can't just go take a third.
Yeah.
Not on this map.
That's exactly the problem that you just mentioned. On a map like this, what usually happens when you see a pylon block at the natural is the Zerg moving over to the third base and building it there. But because it's so far away, you can't do that. You have to take this also because of middle patches. And he even core blocks him here.
Oh, that is pretty nasty. That's about as nasty as it gets, man.
This is usually one of those things that you don't see too often because Protoss players are like, it's not really worth it. But now, with him blocking expansion that has 2 gold patches, and with the Zerg unable to take a third, it's completely worth it.
Yeah, and the one thing that he loses with this is, of course, now it's known that he's going for Gateway Expand. At this point, the Overlord already sees everything, but at that moment in time, he wasn't sure. And now he knows, oh, okay, so it's Gateway Expand. But we have a Nexus going up around the same time as a hatchery with a gateway because of all those blocks. And it's a map with gold. It's losing this. I was just about to say it can't get any worse for Sleep, but it just did.
Yeah, he loses the Overlord early on in the game and is now actually supplier block. Just starts the Overlord. 1 supply left. Can get a drone or a Zergling. That is not going well for Sleep. Not at all.
Yeah, the build order that we see from first, even though it's not his map pick, almost makes it feel like it is. He's just doing everything so well.
When first saw the map, he's like, really? You want to go for this? With a third base that you basically cannot take against me? Well, go ahead, buddy, and thank you once again.
2 gates go down here. The natural is going to block out the Zergling. The Zergling will scout this, but not too important.
And with those 2 gates, there is just no chance that Sleep can take a third base.
Yeah, absolutely not. You could also just break down the rocks and start attacking the natural if he wants to. I don't think that's what we're going to see, but he is going into that 4 gateway pressure. So it is still a chance. And he's going to have the extra minerals from those gold patches, so this is going to be stronger than it would be on a normal map.
And he gets up to 4 gates, so he can just go for the aggression here.
Yeah. Evolution Chamber goes down. He will have Zergling speed a little bit late, but I think it should finish before the attack really starts to punish him for it.
First checks for third base, and he sees that there's no third. But he has the probe still over there. Could throw it on a pylon too. But he did not get his gateway research just yet. He forgot that. Oh my god. Yeah, that is big.
He just starts 2 sentries. I didn't even realize he forgot that.
Yeah, me neither. I just saw it on the production tab. That's usually one of those upgrades that you don't even recognize.
You never pay attention to it, yeah.
Exactly. It always comes out, bam, but he forgets it here.
Well, this means that his entire plan has to shift, and he's going to now have to transition relatively uncomfortably. I guess he's like, well, I guess I'll wait a few more minutes and go for 3 more gateways and then attack him.
And it's still going to be super, super dangerous.
Yeah, it is. This is just a little bit strange what we've seen here. Now he can probably start 3 more sentries if he wants to get more force fields.
Yeah, he's looking at this, he's like, okay, well, my 4-gate doesn't work, so what about a double 4-gate? I go into my 8-gate.
Yeah, looks like that's what we're going to see. He'll have many more probes at that point. Just slightly behind the Harvesters at this moment in time. Now, this is pretty huge, actually, that he sees this. He's like, what? No warp gate? He's going to be thinking, all right, something went wrong here. You know, he might even be thinking, like, is he going air? Is he going super fast +1? Is he doing one of those?
Is he going to see the Pennant, though? Because that is going to be huge if he doesn't.
I don't think he does. He's going in 3 different directions, but it's on the high ground, so I don't think he's going to see that.
Well, warp gate is done now, and he's moving out. He can warp in units immediately. The third is something that Sleep will never be able to hold.
It's all about these upgrades. The +1 Carapace is about to finish, and he's pureling against Pure Zealot. The Roachborn just now being started.
Yeah, the 1-1 upgrades are not done yet. Here comes the block at the wall. Complete wall.
Don't forget, though, he still has to do something about the rocks. You know, he could attack the rocks. This is...
Warps and sentries. He just wants to make sure that they can't get in. And those Zerglings, they are missing now. The first arm upgrade is done, but here comes first, moving in. The Zerglings on their way back. He can also the third base. He's moving right up the ramp.
He's gonna just walk past the third. But that's where his warping point is, don't forget.
And here we go. There are not enough Zerglings. Here come the force fields. Those Lings on the ground will not be able to get in there. The Queens are trying their best, transfusing each other, but there's still Zealots over here.
Now, the Zealots over here are actually just kind of chilling. I don't know about that. And he needs to hit these force fields.
Yeah, he has the force field, but now we have Roaches out. Will the Roaches be able to deal with this?
Well, he's going to get the spine, but I think the Roaches
recall.
He'll just have to recall here. He doesn't have enough stalkers.
Yeah, okay, he's moving down the ramp now, and this is going to get just worse and worse. He loses all of his sentries, and that's exactly what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
He cannot sustain this against the Roaches.
Absolutely not. I mean, his force fields aren't even helping him here. I mean, they are a little bit against the Zerglings, but the Roaches fight. Now, here's the next part, though, is the Stalkers.
The problem is he has just so many resources. He can just warp another set of units, and he's switching now into a couple of Stalkers. The Zealots that were just pointed out could have taken down the third base a long time ago.
Yeah, this push is definitely could have been better, but he still has enough energy for a recall, and he can kill his base and now recall home if he wants.
Let's not forget that the attack is better for Sleep here. He's already on the attack, and he's now getting into the infestation pit. He's going into Swarm Hosts.
Yep. Base is gone. Double Stargate, which is not going to be good against
We
the
have
Swarm
units
Hosts.
over at the Natural, I feel. There was something at the Natural taking out units.
Looks like just a few Zealots ran in there somehow. How, I have no idea.
He lost 5 Harvesters. He was at 39. Double Stargate is now the counter of first. That is a very, very scrappy and awkward game.
Yeah, this game is definitely not the simplest to understand we've ever casted.
The beginning was so... Yeah, it was horrible for Sleep. I mean, getting not only Pylon block, but then also Core block. Then we had everything lining up quite well for first, except for the most important upgrade that he had. He didn't get Warp Gate, decided to go into an 8-gate instead of a 4-gate, which didn't really work out. Now the follow-up with a double Stargate against a potential, Swarm Host transition.
Yeah, I think he's expecting a 2-base Buta instead, and he's being very blind about it. I have nothing to say, but I think this is a poor decision. He absolutely should just be using Host Nation to scout, which he is doing right now, is getting into the main base, but before making double Stargate and starting +1, it would probably be a good idea to see whether your opponent is going for mutas or not. Now he comes to the main base, he sees everything with the hallucination, and now he's like, well, I still kind of have to go Phoenixes here. He can maybe pick them up if he gets lucky.
You know, there is not a lot of anti-air. He can do a lot with those Phoenixes, a lot of damage. He can take down basically all the Overlords that are there. Thing is, though, he will have to transition at some point, and he fully commits now with the +1 armor upgrade, attack upgrade for the air units. So first, we'll have to transition out of the Phoenixes.
He does not have a robotics, so you won't be able to detect the Swarmhouse while they're burrowed.
Should get Void Rays after that. Moving out now with the Phoenixes, and they alone can do so much damage already.
Yeah, it's going to be a big surprise. And Sleep in this case does not like surprises.
It's just going to be difficult for him to deal with a lot of Swarm Hosts. It depends on how many Swarm Hosts Sleep will be able to get out of there. Because he doesn't have any kind of area of effect damage. There are no Colossi, there is no Storm.
Yeah, and remember, no detection still. Here come the Phoenixes into the main. There's a Spore Crawler in place. He will be able to pick off the Queen, though, with good micro.
Yeah, could go for Transfuse later on, but Queen number 1 is already down. Goes into the main base, maybe picking up a couple of drones here. Overseers are gone. Gets another Queen, but oh, first, what's that? Losing 2 Phoenixes?
Yeah, that was so sloppy.
That is... no.
Easily killing the Overlords now.
Yeah, first is very off at this point.
Yeah, I don't know what's going through his head, but of course now he knows about the Swarmhouse, well, which he scouted earlier, but...
What probably goes through his head right now is, why did I forget Warp Gate? Why did I forget Warp Gate? Why did I forget Warp Gate?
Yeah.
That's probably what dominates his thoughts right now, and it really shows.
He's getting a third base, though, and he is transitioning to get that AoE out to deal with the Stormhouse, which, again, is a bit late.
And also, we don't have too many Swarm Hosts. There's only 5.
Yeah, only 5, and he's going to go into probably some Corruptors here. I don't think we're going to see Mutas, though. You know, he's already scouted his opponent has double Stargates, so no reason to go into Mutas. It would be a nice, scary thing to trick somebody, but not when they have double Stargate to easily just make a Fleet Beacon and make more Phoenixes.
Sleep should now not start to get too many Swarm Hosts out there. Usually when you go for Swarm Hosts, you want to be aggressive, you want to go in, you want to do a contain. And that's something. He builds additional ones, but I feel, why not move out with them earlier? He saw that there were Phoenixes. Against the Phoenixes, he can't do anything with his Swarm Hosts. Why not set them up at the third base and just rally those Locusts up front? You already have a couple of units that he can send out. He had enough Queens to deal with the...
He also had his Swarm Hosts like at his third base, like, as if he was going to use them against a big push, which never came.
I think he was really... He also should have known that there is no armory, sorry, no robotics at this point. I mean, now we have it, of course, but at this point, they could have done it.
Yeah, there are definitely a lot of good halves for both players in this game, for sure. 2-2 is getting closer to being done, which is going to help his Swarm Hosts. Also, obviously, his Roaches quite significantly. It's 2-2 also for melee and for missiles, not +2 Carapace.
Yeah. 14 drones now to saturate that fourth base that he's taking. He's moving out now, and he's really adding a lot of Queens here, but no Transfuses. The Queens are not where they should be. There they are.
He's not burrowing those Swarm Hosts, so one does go down.
He has the longevity upgrade, so he can really burrow them a screen away from the Protoss player's third base.
Yeah, you can easily do that and then just kind of siege forward with his Swarm Host. Now he's starting to siege them up and go to work at that gateway wall. And we're going to see him kind of play tennis a little bit here, probably. He's going to siege up, send some of the Swarm Hosts on the right side, and then go to the left side.
Here we have one Pennant already down, the second one probably also going down, but here comes the counterattack first. Had enough time to build up this Void Ray count. That's something that he didn't have earlier.
He has to
Swarm Hosts.
He has to keep the Observer alive.
Yeah. Observer is in a bad position though against the Overseer and the Goblet Spore Crawler. So many Locusts now, and we have the Queen count finally up at a position where he can do something about it. Also, of course, now the Corruptors are coming in.
Yeah. This is very tense at this moment in time for both players, but it's like time is working against First, but he has a very strong army that he can use, and he is getting that fourth base. This is not how Icarus normally looks.
Yeah, but I like the style that Sleep plays. It's just like the map choice is so weird, and he was punished for it earlier in the game. First, on the other hand, not able to capitalize on it because he forgot the Warp Gate technology. But now he's doing a decent job with sending those Zealots in.
He should target the hatchery.
It's just like this tennis that you said. Sleep is not getting into a good position. He's finally moving on to the top right. But can he really set up this contain against the third? It doesn't really look like it.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, there's now 3 cannons, and his Storm Hosts are a little bit exposed here. He needs to get those Queens over. He sends them over now. The Swarm Hosts are starting to break through that wall too, don't forget.
And the Locusts are doing a decent job against the wall here, so they are really doing some damage. That's what he wants to do. Every single time, moving in with the Locust, doing damage with the Swarm Hosts. But yeah, he's building up a decent count.
cannons here will fall this time. Well, Force Field may actually save one of them.
Both of them are just trying to find an angle here, find an opening. And First might have just gotten one. He's moving in against those roaches and taking out the Spore Killers too.
Yep, getting a few of these roaches up in the sky to eliminate their DPS, and the Observer does survive. Here come those Corruptors though. He does have a lot of Void Rays he can use against this. No real Stalkers very much in the army.
And this is just really a positioning issue, and now the Void Rays are in a good spot. We have the Overcharge, really awesome against the Corruptors. Here comes the time off. The Queens are in position. They can transfuse exactly what they do.
Yeah, this is looking better and better all the time though for First. He just has so much DPS. The Locust eventually pushing him back though. He does not have enough anti-air to deal with the Corruptors anymore. He only has sentries down there.
Exactly. We have now Sleep pushing this back. He lost his base. He has still a couple of Swarm Hosts in his composition. The army supply is still in favor of the LGIM player. Well, no, they actually even out.
Yeah, they even out now, but the fourth base is dead for Sleep, and that's something that First has against him. He's also going to pick off some of these Overlords.
He's getting a 5th base.
Yeah, he's even taking a 5th on Icarus of all maps. And Sleep is very uncomfortable because his main is mined out, his natural is mined out. He's basically on 1 mining base right now versus 2. And it's when you're even at supply in this situation, obviously the Pross player is just going to start to pull ahead. He needs to make something happen with this army.
The views in the last fight were actually amazing, but he doesn't have the Swarm Host count anymore to sustain this attack. There is a lot going on for Sleep now, but his main advantage is just the Corruptor count, and once that we have a counter for First in the game against the Corruptors, it's going to be really difficult for him to make this work.
Locust and these Roaches should be able to defend this hatchery. Those Zealots are even running away. But this gives him the opportunity to run in and snipe that 4th again.
Yeah, and First gets the better tech now. He has his Blink on his way. He has the High Templar swapping in. We have Storm being researched. He's going up against the 4th again while taking his own 5th base. It's nearly completed. So time is really working against Sleep.
Yeah, there's the base finishing here. Cannon's going down.
Sleep doesn't know about it either.
Exactly. He's long distance mining. This is just going to get worse and worse for Sleep unless he makes something happen with these Swarm Hosts right now. You know, he can't sit around like this anymore.
The composition that he has is a good one. The problem is that it's not enough at this point in the game.
Yeah.
And not with the economy that he has. He's so far behind in economy already.
Storm is very close to being done. These Templar have been out for a long time now. We're about to see a ton of Storms. It's going to be a lightning show on those Corruptors. Cannon's unpowered. You know the Locusts are going to start killing some of those Harvesters.
Here comes the Blink moving in, and now we have the Colossi. They are already trying to take down those Swarm Hosts. We have detection there.
Storm is ready, and here we go on the Corruptors. Double Storm, triple Storm, quadruple Storm.
And he has also the Stalkers to pick them off. Another Storm goes down, and those Corruptors really in trouble.
He had 8 High Templar, and they all have Storms, so he just keeps storming away.
Blink forwards, picks them off one by one. First, after he should have won early on in the game already, is now on the move, on the way to take victory in this game.
No detection, obviously a bit of a problem for him here, but the Locusts are not going to be enough to stop him. He needs to pull those Colossi back though.
Observer was killed, and I can't believe that he's using those Colossi.
Well, you know, I guess he might have wanted to do the AoE to kill the Swarm Hosts, maybe.
But not against this many. He's losing too much against them.
Yeah.
It's a cute idea, but still. You know, he took out one of those Locusts, one of those Swarm Hosts, but I mean, he's going to take this game now eventually, so it's not like he's going to lose it.
Exactly. He's got that Observer coming out now, and there it goes. Kills him.
I think this match has a really good chance to win the title of being the scrappiest games of all time.
Yeah. Definitely.
At least of this season.
Wacky games like this one and Sanai's game, man.
First is GG. First is just happy. He's like, okay, I should have won this with my 4-gate attack already, but I screwed up when I forgot my warp-gate research. Now I'm going to take it after all. He's probably like, ooh, bullet dodge.
I want to know why Sleep picked that map, because to me, there's no reason.
Yeah, I mean, the game should have ended with a 4-gate attack. Look at that smirk. He's like, yeah, I know.
Well, LGIM now in a position where they only need one more win to take the team series. Really, really important one for them, as they are 1-2 right now. And AZUBU has to pick their final player.
Yeah, AZUBU has to pick their final player, and first, he's happy that he won this game. The coach is talking to Boom Boom about the next choice. I cannot understand why Sleep chose that. Well, why?
Yeah, I don't know.
The pylon block is inevitable. That you can't take a third place is a given. And against a style, we've seen so many Protoss players going into this gateway style, and that was the first thing that First did here, because he knew that it's going to be tough to take the third. And if Sleep would have ever tried to take it, he would have been eliminated right away.
Well, coming down to our next player, if today's history repeats itself, we're going to see Symbol. We're going to see a Zerg player. But I don't think that is what they're going to choose. I think they're going to choose Ganji. But I've been expecting to see Ganji or Supernova for a long time now, and they have just been sending more and more Zergs out. So I think it is possible they send Symbol out here. That was a weird game.
It was a weird game, and it was also a weird choice. I mean, Sleep as the third player, as I said, I can see him as the first player, I can see him at the third player, I can see him when you are, at the first or the second player, I can see him when you are already far ahead in the team match coming out. But in a situation where really everything is on the line and you need more than one win from your player, I don't think he's the best choice when you still have so many players on the bench that are just simply better than Sleep.
And we never got to see a plan come together there because he just couldn't. His builder was messed up from the beginning by a core block. And then it's like, well, what do you do, man? I mean, it looks like maybe Swarmos were the idea, but it looks like more of a reaction to what he saw than an actual plan in that game.
I feel that he would have probably chosen a Killen if he could, but a Killen is already out, so it was chosen earlier, so I feel he was like going for a smaller map, and that was the only one that was left. But on a map where you have 2 gold patches at the natural, you expect a pylon block, especially when the third base is so difficult to take. I mean, usually in this matchup, when there is a pylon block, the Zerg player just moves over to the third base and takes it, and is going to be fine. But in this scenario, you can't take that. Third is way too far away from your natural and your main base to defend properly.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that very thing happen with a later timing attack, and he couldn't really defend it.
The only reason why this game went for this long is because the gateway research was forgotten.
Symbol. They're just sending another Zerg after another.
4 Zerg players today for Team AZUBU. It is going to be Symbol, the symbol of hope.
Well, Symbol, coming from the team TSL, definitely has a Zerg background. He's used to being on a long list of Zergs coming out in the Team League.
AZUBU goes full Zerg here, literally.
This is really, really interesting that they're going to pick Symbol here. Symbol, though, is a really strong player overall, and even though he's in Codescent, he would probably like to hide his builds as much as possible. He's playing against a Protoss here, and he's the type of player who can get reverse all kills. He's a good player to send out last.
Yeah, it's definitely true. But I cannot understand I really would like to have an interview with the AZUBU coach later on and ask him, okay, what was the thought process here? I mean, this guy has been making really good decisions in the past, so there has to be some kind of reason that we don't see. But as a third player, why send him out? There has to be a reason. I want to know what's going on in his mind. Is he this good in training against the Protoss players? Does he have a special build? Whatever the reason is, it didn't work out. They are down on the last leg now. And before we see Symbol play, we will of course have once again a 5-minute break, and when we are back, we'll go into Symbol up against First.
I'll be there more than a mom and Mary. Together.